Hello, listeners. Once you're done catching up with everything Intrepid Audio Productions has to offer, check out some other great independent podcast shows like the Knights of the Video Game Table podcast. Jeremy, Patrick, and Frank do great work, and it's worth your time to check them out. They're part of the Nerdgasm Network, where you can find other cool shows, including the Super Budget Brothers, the Nerdgasm Network video game podcast, and all other shows, which can be found at extraplay.info. Give them a listen, because good, honest work can be hard to find.
The best. Or worst food. What I ate. Check it out at the best or worst food, what I ate.blogspot.com.
Sort of break it down like this.
Oh, fantastic. He is one of the biggest meatballs on Twitter.
I'm an idiot.
No, that's okay.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mike.
Could you please take back Tim Tebow?
Oh, awesome.
College football in touch.
I don't understand where these questions are coming from, Tom. That's about it for Manager's Corner. Go yourself and with your show coming up next on the Baltimore Oriole Baseball Network.
I made a note about college sports, and the note just says college sports in general.
Whammy!
Can't do it.
The changes that have happened in the Cub organization are multifold.
Boogie boogie. Great stuff. Welcome back to Chicago Sports Update here on Intrepid Audio Productions. Just to all the listeners, thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Chicago Sports Update here on IAP Podcast, and we welcome in on the Front Page of Screen hotline Anthony Alex from the Angry Mailman Podcast and our constant contributor for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and as we always enjoy his expertise. And, well, we're talking about a 48-7 win over the Wildcats. Satisfying or not?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's an SEC school, so even though it is Kentucky, you look at SEC wins a little different than you do, a Georgia State or a, Colorado State or something like that. So, yeah, it is. And also we got a lot of guys that we got playing time for younger guys. But we also, one thing is when you're traveling, you don't carry as many guys as when you're playing at home. So some of your, second string get to play a lot more than maybe if you were at home, maybe your third string would have gotten more time. So we had a couple guys go over 100 yards. McCarron threw for the most yards he ever has in his career, 359. So it's good to see the everything kind of clicking. Of course, Saban has all the Alabama fans trained to look for anything that wasn't perfect. And in the first half, man, they fumbled a couple times, had some drop passes, stuff like that was just kind of uncalled for. So still not the complete game that we've been looking for. And hopefully we'll have that complete game ready for LSU and later on Auburn.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess, the best way to look at it, and always have something to build off of during the football schedule, and whether you can take away something from a win, or you can, if you end up losing, happening last year, and then really hammering that home and using that as an education tool for your program and for your players, and being able to apply that and make the changes necessary in order to win and get better. And, well, we saw what it did last time, putting them in the championship against Notre Dame.
You got 8 guys that with rushing stats for Alabama for this game, 8 guys with receiving stats. So they, got the ball around a pretty good bit. Our kicker, 6 for 6 on extra points, couple field goals. 3 returns for Christian Jones. So, I mean, it's, everybody kind of got out there and, just to work the bugs out, stay fresh and try to get dialed in. Because Alabama really through October is going to have an easy month. It's going to be November before they really see any real test. You got Arkansas and Tennessee and then a bye week. So, I don't know. It's mostly tune-up games. And then the bye week right for LSU is going to come in handy because we'll get tuned up, then get a week's rest. And, the next biggest challenge that they're looking at, they should be rested and all that for it.
Yeah, no, I that's exactly what it looks like on the schedule here, and that's exactly pretty much, what I think Alabama has to do and Saban for the program. Now, last week I was in Nashville And I was genuinely surprised at they. Now Nashville, if you don't know, is home city for Vanderbilt, and while they hosted Mizzou that weekend, I was genuinely blown away by the amount of Crimson Tide support that was in Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, as that were. And maybe it's just they've wisened up and jumped ship. But
well,
is
really,
that something that you see often?
yeah.
Or,
the whole time, since I've been growing up in the state, you go into like the Panhandle of Florida, you see a lot of Alabama support. Really, when you get into Georgia, if they're not Georgia fans, they're West Georgia fans, aka Auburn. So, and Mississippi seems to they don't allow many Alabama fans over the line. But I think it's because Tennessee's color is just so ugly that people people choose to be Alabama fans. Also, you have a lot of people, Northern Alabama that end up taking jobs over the line and and remain fans. Because pretty much, if you're born an Alabama fan, aside from my girlfriend, who I really have a problem with, she used to be an Alabama fan and is now an Auburn fan, and I still don't understand how that happens. But I don't know. Besides that, you pretty much are born an Alabama fan, and one problem that I have too with her is we're walking through a store, and she will always look if there's the most redneck person with an Alabama hat on, like that's who she points out. She didn't point out the guy that looks like he's a doctor or something like that with like an Alabama polo on. She points out the guy that's like butt crack showing with a dirty Alabama hat, and his wife has toenails that look like a saber-toothed tiger or something. That's who she points out. And the other day I was just like, look, just don't say nothing, okay? She didn't even say anything. She looked and smiled to herself. She wasn't going to say anything. I said, I know what you're thinking, okay? I mean, I've known her for 20 years. I said, I know what you're thinking. Don't even, no, just stop me. She just dies laughing. But I'm like, no, we're not. Look, I'll find an Auburn person that looks like that and point it out to you, and we'll see how you like it. So.
Well, rest assured, up here, the only Alabama fans I've seen, no, they don't drive pickup trucks from outside here in suburban Chicago. I've mostly seen them in very clean SUVs with simple either Roll Tide bumper sticker or a window shield sticker with the cursive A.
Yeah.
So
right. So I mean,
rest assured, they're not all like.
Yeah, she wants to point out all the trash, but there are legitimate, college educated. I mean, apparently she thinks that Alabama people, nobody actually that likes Alabama went to college. I mean, I don't know what she's. There's a lot of people that are Alabama fans that went to the school. We're not all just brought up. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that's all right. It happens. But
right.
You got to look forward to the 3 home games that are coming up. Yes, against 2, lesser SEC opponents in Arkansas and Tennessee. But with that finale, with that real big game with LSU coming up over the next couple of weeks for at home in Tuscaloosa against LSU. Now, should we expect, looking at from the team right now? Yes, we're looking ahead over 2 wins, but should we expect a defensive battle that we've seen before, or should we expect a gunsling here?
No, AJ McCarron, he's a little bit different than the past quarterbacks. He's even though he gets labeled as a game manager, he's not a game manager at all. He does like to sling it. Alabama, like we've talked about all year, has a deep group of wide receivers, a deep group of running backs. The defense is not quite as good as they've been in the last few years. So, they shouldn't have any trouble scoring, but the defense is good enough. I saw a stat the other day, the Texas A&M game, Texas A&M scored 42 on Alabama, and that total 42 is 60% of the total points that's been scored on Alabama this year. So one game, if you take that one game out, Alabama's in the top 5 defense in the country. So they just had one game that they just couldn't stop Johnny Manziel, but then again, who can? So,
yeah, no, completely understood. Let's see, is there any other points or tips that we should look forward to for this things to watch for against Arkansas coming up here on Saturday?
Arkansas to me is a little bit of a dumpster fire. They've got a good running game. The Alex Collins kid that we've referred to before, he's the one that we mentioned. That's mom took his letter of intent when he was signing for Arkansas. She wanted him to go to like Miami or something. Took his letter of intent and ran away with it. and they had to get it back from her and all this other stuff. So, but he's proven that he is a good recruit, and I mean, they've got an okay running game. They can't pass at all. I think their last game they had like 30 yards passing or something, or game before last. So they pretty much Alabama's going to load the box on them. And since they can't pass, I don't expect them. They're an SEC school. They'll probably get a touchdown. I mean, Kentucky, scored. But
Yeah.
But aside from that, they're not going to have a lot of passing yards. They're not going to be able to run on Alabama. So I expect, it maybe in the 35-7 range or something like that for Arkansas. And then Tennessee is maybe a little better, but not much. Similar score for the Tennessee game.
All right. Well, I think that's really good. Well, you know what to look forward to now, guys. I'd certainly say those. You hate to count them. You hate to count the chickens before they hatch.
Sure.
But these ones are, they're pretty well cooked right now.
Yeah. The only deal is if AJ McCarron were to get hurt or something, then
right, all
bets are off at that point.
Right.
The whole offense hinges around him. Or there's a big drop off to Blake Sims. But that's kind of what I'm looking at. But Matt, I mentioned on the last show. Sorry, do they have sport clips up there?
Yes, we do. I actually just got my haircut done at one this past weekend.
Okay, episode 155 of the Angry Mailman that I just released today. I talked about sports clips a little bit. That it was my first time. Have you ever got the MVP? With the massage and then the hot towel.
Yes. Yes. They sell them at least. Like they have a season pass for them.
Right.
Gosh, here's this nice plug. Hey, Sport Clips, throw some money my way.
Sure.
But they have a season pass where, like, if you buy, I think 10 or 12 haircuts, you end up getting a couple free, but you pay it all up front, and you just show up every 6 weeks or whatnot.
Right. Well, for anybody. I mean, you got sports fans. There's guys. You need haircuts and all that. And this is not a plug for Sport Clips, even though it sounds like it is. But make sure you don't go in there with like sweatpants or something, because if you got a woman that's like massaging your face and your scalp and all that stuff, and rubbing on you, and she's like not complaining about her mother or something, that can make you happy. So keep that in mind. Don't go in there ill prepared. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Good advice. Good advice.
Uh-huh.
All right. Now I don't know why they wouldn't be able to find you right now, but for any new listeners out there, where can they find you?
Yeah, Google or any kind of anything, Angry Mailman, and then you got angrymailman.com. So lots of stuff on there. Pictures if you want to see what we look like, and a lot of the listeners, people who's been on a bunch of the earlier shows, got pictures. Got your picture up there.
Yes, you do.
So all that kind of stuff. So go to angrymailman.com and check all that stuff out.
All right, thanks a lot. And, you're going to have the week off next week, so we look forward to catching up with you soon. And, we'll talk to you then. And until then, roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Don't you spend enough time waiting for patches, system updates, and even worse, title updates? On Lag Free, we won't waste your time, and we talk about the topics that you want to hear about in a decidedly different fashion. No scripts or forced sides here. Listen to Lag Free, recorded and released regularly on Intrepid Audio Productions.
And while Patrick was unable to join us this week, he did send in an email with a recap of the game. So here we go. Yesterday's game was very disappointing. Going into the half, being tied 7-all with the 5-0 Chiefs was a great sign. Our defense was looking great. The second half starts and things are going still pretty good. Then the Raiders self-destruct. Pryor throws 3 interceptions, and our defense could not really move the ball. You can't move the ball when the defense is really on the field. You can just play back. They kept getting penalties and kept shooting themselves in the foot. They had to switch out the center because he wasn't blocking, and the defense tried to hang in, but was not going to, being out on the field for all that time. In the end, even though, yes, he does sound like a broken record, the Raiders do need a better offensive line. Pryor just had a bad game. It's going to happen, and he's still young. But he needs to learn to not to throw in the middle when being rushed and when there's double coverage. All rookie mistakes that will be fixed as he plays. And that's true. We've seen that. A lot of Bears quarterbacks have done that. So